'Tis I. Hey everyone, glad to see you back, glad to see you looking fresh, and today I want to talk about Mario Kart, I want to talk about the Switch 2, I want to talk about pricing, I want to talk about all of that. We'll be getting into a lot of businessy stuff, number stuff, interesting industry things. So yeah, so Mario Kart had a Direct, and obviously the Switch 2 had a Direct, and let me preface by saying the Direct for the Switch 2 was one of, if not the best Nintendo Directs I've ever seen. And I've been watching them pretty steadily since like 2014. Since the one where Little Mac was announced for Smash. Whenever that, right around there. I've been pretty on the ball with watching these. I've never missed a day where there was a Direct. I've been on top of things. And so the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct comes out, and it's a ton of fun. It announces some great new stuff. By the end of it, I was so overwhelmed with emotion, I started tearing up at just the thought of there's a new Kirby Air Ride and a new Donkey Kong, and before that there was a new Zelda Warrior. There's just so much stuff to be looking forward to. It was a wonderful, like, big celebration of, like, it's a new generation, and it's a big deal, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and then it's over. They didn't say the price. Price comes out. It's $450 for the base model. $500 if you want Mario Kart included. Mario Kart by itself is $80. And then the whole lie started spreading around that there was $90. And I'm like, nope, that's misinformation. And one person misquoted. And then that got spread like wildfire. And of course, everyone just loves to bash Nintendo. So we're going to say that it's $90 when it's not. While I'm not defending Nintendo's $80 price tag, I am going to defend them and say that the $90 one was never a thing. It was for, I believe, it was in euros or pounds. I don't remember exactly which one, which exchange rates. Some are going to be higher, right? And so, $80 for the new Mario Kart. And everyone kind of sat and waited on that. It's like, okay, that's the first ever base $80 game, ever. Well, not ever. There's probably some weird, obscure titles, and maybe before, like, games were set to 50, it existed. But anyways, in the modern era, first big AAA notable title to be $80. It rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, me included. I saw that, and I was like, oh, that's not good. Because it sets a new precedent. $80 is the new bar. Nintendo's the one that made the bar. I don't remember who did the $70 thing first. I do not. I should, considering how much of a staple it is now. I think that's why it's kind of washed over me. I don't remember what game was the first $70 game. It obviously had to happen at some point. I don't remember who pulled the trigger first. It wasn't Nintendo. In fact, Nintendo didn't have a AAA $70 game until Tears of the Kingdom, and that was their only one. And I remember when Tears of the Kingdom came out, they, like, stated, they're like, hey, listen, this was a ton of work. It's a very big game. If you get it, you're going to get a ton of hours out of it. Trust us, this one's worth $70. We're only doing it this time. If we do it again, we'll let you know. And I trusted them, because why wouldn't I trust them, right? Nintendo is a corporation, sure, but I trust Nintendo when it comes to stuff like that. And they were right. They didn't lie. They came out, they said it was 70, it was 70. But then no other game from Nintendo for the base game was $70 for years, right? And that's just, okay, great. And now they're like, everything's kind of bumped up. And I understand economics, I understand international shipping, I understand things get more expensive as inflation goes up. Not even just like the buzzword inflation that everyone likes to talk about right now, just inflation, period. Like, money typically loses its value as it's aged, but the idea that everything is $10 more, I mean, on paper, right, it doesn't seem that bad, and it also doesn't seem that good, because it's just $10 more, but it's like, okay, someone like me, you look behind me right now. You see how many games are behind me? There's 3 things of Switch games here. You know, I have PS2, DS, 3DS, games all around me of different eras and generations. Like, if all of these Switch games were an extra $10 a piece, that's a lot of extra money that's just gone. You know? And obviously you can make the argument when you bought some used, I'm sure, and yeah, yada, 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 you can go on and on about it, but just outright, if they all were $10 more than what I paid for them, that's a bunch of less games than I would have. Let's just say it like that. There's less games than I would own because games would cost more to get them. And this is why it stings. I feel like the $80 price tag was inevitable with how many insiders, quote unquote, were just rumbling and rumoring about how prices are going to go up. And then it happened, and Nintendo was the first. Nintendo was the first to do it, and I really wish they weren't, because people love to bag on Nintendo for a ton of stuff, greed being one of them, and that is happening. A lot of people are just straight up calling Nintendo greedy. They're saying drop the price. During the Mario Kart Direct, the chat was just all drop the price, drop the price. And they're not listening to that. They're not going to. Doug Bowser was questioned directly, why is the price higher? He didn't have a perfectly valid answer. I think everyone's hoping him to say, like, okay, so Mario Kart is $80 because we plan on including DLC down the line. We plan on working on it like a live service type game where we add new stuff, new characters and costumes and courses, and we want to just have the upfront cost and not have the consumer have to pay a DLC down the line like with Mario Kart 8. Right? I think that's what everyone's hoping someone's gonna say. But right now it's just been, the game is bigger and it's good, so we're doing this like tiered pricing strategy where some games come out more expensive. Okay, Nintendo, you've done that for a long time, but you've never gone past where the market typically rules something to be. You've sat at 60 for longer than most, and you bumped it up to 70 once where the ceiling had been for your standard video game, and then you stayed right at 60, or sometimes you'd go lower to 50 and 40 for what you deemed like lower value, just based on, you know, the franchise and the audience and how long the game takes to beat and how big, like all these factors. So you've been doing this tiered strategy before now. It's not a new thing. It's just now you're making new ground, and ground that people don't want to see. Because like I said before, precedent has been set now. I don't see a world now where GTA 6 doesn't come out for at least $80. At least $80 now. And because that's been the rumors that GTA 6 is going to be the one that's going to come out and it's going to cost more. It's not going to be $70, it's going to be more. I would be shocked if 2K is like, yeah, that game's only $70 now. Especially because Nintendo was the first to draw that $80 price tag up. So I can 100% see GTA 6 being that. Now, I'll give Nintendo this. I understand that in their own head, they're like, okay, this one's 80, and even Donkey Kong is 70. Donkey Kong seems like a pretty AAA thing. So, are most games going to be 70? I would assume. I assume that Kirby is going to be 70. I assume that the new Hyrule Warriors is going to be 70. It's all assumptions, right? But I assume that to be the case. If they're 80, then I'll eat my words on that. But I assume that most games are going to be 70. Mario Kart's the exception. So in their heads, it's the same thing as when they bumped it up 4 Tears of the Kingdom and everything else was still only 60. The problem is, though, you can't control everybody else. You can't control what Sony does. You can't control what EA, Activision does. You can't control what Microsoft does. You can't control what any publisher's doing other than what you're doing. So now I can absolutely see, you know, your Maddens and your FIFAs and any yearly release sports game, those are $80 now. Because why wouldn't they be? People are still going to buy them, aren't they? Yeah, they probably will. And that seems to be the argument for Mario Kart, which stinks more, because they didn't really show off reasons as to why this game has to be more expensive. Why it's a bigger price tag other than it's bigger and it's better, which is, I mean, fair enough, but also not a good enough answer, right? I understand what you're saying. However, you gotta understand what we're saying when we say that $7 is not nothing. $70 is a hefty price tag, and it's one that I am not able to do very often. Anytime a game comes out, I typically plan on sales coming up. I typically plan on when I can go to different retailers and pick it up at a discount in some way or shape or form, because I cannot just outright go and every game I want to play, day one it at $70. That's not a thing I can do. And it's just that little bit more hard when it's $80 now. And Nintendo infamously does not drop the game prices, ever. Unless it's a special, like, Black Friday thing. And then, even then, it's a very short window where you get a discounted price. Nintendo does not drop prices on things. They do not. And so now that it's just been set at 80, I can guarantee in 5 years, Mario Kart World is gonna be $80 still. Which, it's a tough pill to swallow. It has been. It's been tough since the Switch 2 came out because, as I said right up front, the Switch 2 Direct was one of, if not the best Directs of all time. It was pure excitement and fun. Now, there were cracks in the foundation that we may have should have seen come in, because the pack-in game that should be a pack-in game, from what it looks like, isn't a pack-in game, and it's gonna cost like $10, and that's very weird to me. Now, with a game like that, I would prefer it to be packed in, obviously, but I mean, if it was like released physically for $10, I wouldn't complain. But it's not. It's digital only, apparently, and it's $10, and that kind of stinks too. One final thing on the Mario Kart pricing strategy, just to continue trying to see it from both sides, because they're not budging. I don't think they'll budge. I don't think before June, when the Switch 2 comes out, that they're gonna move on this. I think they saw how popular Mario Kart 8 was. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe specifically. Mario Kart 8 didn't sell too terribly much. It did for a dying console, but, you know. I think they saw how popular Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was. $60 price tag. Sold like crazy. One of, if not the highest, I don't remember off the top of my head, games, best-selling games on the console, right? Meaning it's one of the best-selling games of all time. And DLC comes out, and DLC is $25. And people bought the DLC. I'm sure a lot of people bought the DLC. I'm sure a lot of people got it just because they had NSO, but a lot of people probably bought that DLC. And there's your price tag. $85. Okay, we can make a Mario Kart game, and we'll only charge $80. We won't charge $85 for all the stuff. If that's their thought process, again, I can see why they would think that that would make sense. The math does math on their end, but it's not on ours, you know? The argument can be laid out. It's like, well, what's so different about this one that we can't get in 8? The open world stuff, the rewind stuff. There's new characters, and there's new tracks, and sure, all this new stuff you'd expect in a new entry in a franchise. Not like it's bigger, and it's better, and it has more stuff, right? That's what you kind of expect. There's not anything that's warranting, like, this is so new and innovative and so much new stuff that it warrants the bump up in price, right? At face value, it's $20 more than the base game of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Again, with all DLCs, it's $5 cheaper than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So, if that, like I said, I understand. I don't like it. I don't have to like it, but I get what they're saying. I think for all of this to make sense, and for all of it to just line up perfectly, it'd be a perfect world if they came out and they said, our bad, we're not being transparent at all. Here's why it's $80. This reason, that reason, this reason. We're doing DLC, we're adding tons of characters, we're adding new tracks, we're adding costumes, we're doing this stuff. And it's just going to be added into the game. It's not going to be DLC. Or, and this is a very long or, because DLC for Mario Kart 8 took a long time to show up. If there is zero DLC for this game, and the game is so massively big and has so much stuff to do that it takes so long to unlock everything anyway, again, that's not as bad, but the ramifications of this action is going to be felt throughout the gaming industry forever. This one event. It was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Sorry, it was not Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It was Mario Kart World that caused this to happen. And that stinks. Because like I said, I don't remember what the $70 one was. But because it's Nintendo, and everyone loves to blame Nintendo, everyone loves to point fingers at Nintendo, they're an easy punching bag. And I defend them a lot. I stand by them a lot. I stood by them at the $70 Tears of the Kingdom. I will continue to do that because they told the truth and they stuck by their word. And this is a different situation than that is. And it's tough because I am ridiculously excited for a whole new generation of Nintendo games. I mean, just in the last little while, the last 2 directs, they have announced a new Rhythm Heaven, a new Tomodachi Life, a new Mario Kart. They didn't announce it, but they showed it off. A new Donkey Kong, a new Kirby Air Riders. There's a FromSoft game in there. Heck, the Metroid's still coming. Pokemon Legends is still coming. Like, that's 8 games off the top of my head that seem like wonderful, big, full experiences, full single-player experience. I mean, the FromSoft one is a little more shaky, but full experiences to be had on the Nintendo Switch 2. Some of them on the Switch 1, but you know what I'm saying. It's exciting. Oh, Zelda Warriors, that's 9 off the top of my head, but you know, 9 I got there. It should just be pure excitement running forward. The console price alone, I don't really care that much. Obviously, I would love it if it was only $300. I'd love it if it was cheaper, but the Switch itself cost $300. I think it was a little crazy to expect its successor to come out at $300. I was hoping for 4. I was hoping for $350 actually, but I knew that wasn't going to be the case considering the OLED. But I was hoping for $450. Again, $50 isn't a whole heck of a lot more in the grand scheme of things. Just like $10 more isn't a whole heck of a lot more in the grand scheme of things. But it's more. It's more, and that's the simple thing. It's more than it was. Again, there's a lot of factors that go into this. I do not think, even with anything political, geopolitics aside, I don't think they're going to raise the price any more than this. For America, I cannot speak on other countries, but for America, I think the price is pretty near set on the console and the games, and I think we're just going to have to live with it. What I think, I don't know. The bajillion things running through my mind right now. Because Nintendo's past history, right? Everyone likes to say, like, good console, bad console in terms of sales. They always like to discount the handheld stuff when I talk about that. But, you know, home console-wise, Switch was a huge success. The Wii U was not. The Wii was a huge success. The GameCube was not. You know, and then before that, it was kind of like trickling down. NES was great. SNES was a little bit worse. SN64 was a little bit worse. And then GameCube was when they really started to feel it. But the last couple have been flip-flops. So I don't want another Wii U on my hands. I don't think I'm going to get another Wii U on my hands. Because, like, just in my own life, I talk to people who don't really play games. They understand Switch 2. It's the next one. They don't understand Wii U. What is that? Oh, it's like, I always had to say it's like the PS2 to the PlayStation 1. Or the PS3 to the PlayStation 2 at the time. And they got it. But just Switch 2, you don't have to have that. People just get it. It's a new Switch. It's going to have different games on it. It's simple. Nintendo did great on that. The branding, the marketing, all that stuff. Pricing, though, it's tough. It's tough. It's cheaper, still, than your PlayStation 5, your Xbox Series X. But not by much. And yes, of course, you get your Nintendo games on it, and you seem to be getting other great series on it, other great exclusives on it. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see, of course. And of course, I have a lot of thoughts about this. Let me know your thoughts. Like I said, unfortunately for some people, they may get mad at me. I can see where Nintendo's coming from. I can see the thought process at least. Do I agree? No, I do not agree. I think that the marketing strategy when it comes to cost is not it. Said console wise, fine. Console price is fine. Bundle price is fine. Especially because, people are saving $30 if they can get the game digitally. So, but then again, that's only for the first couple months, so there's another, guys, come on. Everything I can use as the defense, you guys seem to want to backpedal a little bit as, well, maybe not that. And so that's where it gets tough of, I want to defend you guys. I really do. I really want to be well, this, that. If there was, 3, little minute things. If Mario Kart World was 70, no one would have batted it out. Everyone would have been oh, gee, I guess Nintendo's, doing the whole 70 for everything thing. But that wouldn't have dampened the talk on everything. I would want to just sit here and make a 20-some minute video talking about how excited I am for the new Mario Kart. They put the cow from Moo Moo Meadows in this game. I should just be screaming how excited I am to be playing this game. But instead, I'm sitting here talking about money and pricing and business strategies because it's just dampened things for a lot of people, me included. And I don't want it to, but it has. I can't not ignore it. I have to address it. It's bothering me. It's bothering a lot of people, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal because, like I said, game prices are gonna go up. Other companies are gonna look at Nintendo and see them as, you guys did it first, we're gonna do it now. That's what's going to happen. It's not even it may happen, it's just going to. Someone did the $70 thing first. Other people followed suit. It's gonna happen with the $80 thing. I'm not saying it's gonna happen immediately. I'm not saying that Ghost of Yote is gonna come out at 80. I'm not even saying that any other Nintendo game down the line. I'm not saying the new Hyrule Warriors is gonna be 80. I'm not saying Kirby. I'm not any of that. It's gonna happen though. Some games are gonna come out at 80. We'll see with GTA 6 if that really is the benchmark now, or is GTA 6 going to come out at 100 like everyone likes to keep saying. I hope not, because that'll really blow things out of proportion and it's going to be a problem. But, I don't know. We'll have to see, for sure. It's going to be a very memorable year for games regardless if the Nintendo Switch 2 sinks or swims. And, yeah. I'll be right there for it. Will I get it day one? Probably not, to be honest. Part of me wants to, do a midnight release and come home and play the Switch 2 right away. But, I mean, the launch lineup right now, there's a couple, obviously, Mario Kart. Donkey Kong's not there day one. I can wait a little bit. I can wait till Donkey Kong's out. I can wait till either Zelda, Hyrule Warriors out, stuff like that. So, I'm not saying I'll be there day one, let you know how I think, but maybe if the table, everything lines up and, maybe, but I'm probably not. That's not very far from now. So, yeah. I just hope it's not going to be like the PS5 and the Series X were when those came out. They were impossible to find for years. I hope it's not like that because I missed the opening window, but we shall see how it goes. Anyways, I know this video was a little bit different than how I normally do it. I know I normally try to structure it a little bit better, and this was me doing a lot of yapping about the directs and Mario Kart and, like I said, and pricing and stuff. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you I honestly hope you agree. But if you didn't, let me know what you're thinking, what your thoughts are, and yeah. Thank you so very much for watching. As always, like this if you like this, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you at some point.